Once upon a time, in a small town called Willowbrook, I had a magical encounter that changed my life. It all started on a sunny day when I decided to take a walk in the local park. As I strolled along the winding path, enjoying the beautiful flowers and chirping birds, I noticed a stray puppy wagging its tail in the distance. My heart melted at the sight of the adorable little creature. Without thinking twice, I approached it slowly, hoping to offer some comfort. To my surprise, as I got closer, I noticed a young man sitting on a bench nearby, watching the puppy with a gentle smile on his face. He had tousled brown hair and kind, twinkling eyes that sparkled in the sunlight. Something about him drew me in, and I couldn't help but feel an instant connection. Curiosity got the best of me, so I mustered up the courage to strike up a conversation. "Hi there. Is this little puppy yours?" I asked, pointing at the fluffy bundle of joy. He looked up, his smile widening, and replied, "No, I found him wandering around." He seemed lost and scared, so I decided to stay with him until we find his owner. "I'm Jake, by the way." I introduced myself and offered my assistance in finding the puppy's home. We spent the entire afternoon walking through the park, knocking on doors, and asking people if they recognized the furry adventurer. Unfortunately, our efforts were in vain, and nobody seemed to recognize the adorable pup. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, we both felt a sense of attachment to the puppy. Jake suggested that we take him to the local animal shelter, where he would be safe and taken care of until a loving family adopted him. We exchanged stories and laughter as we made our way to the shelter. Jake had a wonderful sense of humor, and his genuine kindness warmed my heart. It felt as if we had known each other for ages, even though we had just met. When we arrived at the shelter, we reluctantly said our goodbyes to the puppy, knowing it was for the best. Jake thanked me for my help and said, "I'm grateful that you came along today. It's been a pleasure meeting you." Before leaving, he scribbled his phone number on a piece of paper and handed it to me. "If you ever want to hang out or need a friend, don't hesitate to call," he said with a warm smile. Even I shared my number with him. As I watched him walk away, a mixture of happiness and longing filled my heart. Little did I know that our encounter in the park was just the beginning of an incredible journey, and our lives were about to become intertwined in the most unexpected ways. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months since that fateful day in the park. The memory of meeting Jake and the adorable stray puppy remained etched in my mind. I couldn't help but think about him from time to time, wondering if our paths would cross again. One evening, as I sat by my window, sipping a cup of tea, my phone buzzed. Surprised, I glanced at the screen to find an incoming call from an unfamiliar number. Curiosity piqued, I answered, and to my delight, it was Jake on the other end of the line. "Hey, it's Jake. I hope you remember me," he said cheerfully. "I was wondering if you'd like to grab a coffee sometime. It'd be great to catch up." My heart raced with excitement. Without hesitation, I agreed to meet him the following day at a cozy cafe in town. I couldn't wait to see him again and learn about the adventures that life had taken him on since our last encounter. The next day arrived, and as I entered the cafe, I spotted Jake sitting at a table near the window. He waved me over, his smile widening as our eyes met. We exchanged warm greetings, and the conversation flowed effortlessly, as if we had never been apart. Jake shared stories of his travels and the remarkable people he had met along the way. He spoke passionately about his love for photography, capturing the beauty of different landscapes and cultures. Listening to him, I couldn't help but admire his zest for life and the way he pursued his dreams. As we laughed about our adventure in the park, it became clear that our connection was something special. Time seemed to slip away, and before we knew it, the cafe was closing for the night. Reluctantly, we bid each other farewell, promising to keep in touch. From that day forward, Jake and I became inseparable. We embarked on countless adventures together, exploring new places, trying new foods, and creating memories that would last a lifetime. Through our shared experiences, we discovered a deep understanding and unwavering support for one another. Jake became my confidant, my rock, and my greatest source of inspiration. He encouraged me to pursue my own passions and pushed me to step out of my comfort zone. As the years went by, our friendship blossomed into something more. Our hearts had found solace in each other's company, and love had quietly taken root. Time flew by in a whirlwind of laughter, shared adventures, and deepening affection between Jake and me. We had become an inseparable duo, supporting and uplifting each other through life's ups and downs. Our bond had grown stronger with each passing day, and it was evident that we were meant to be together. One evening, as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and orange, Jake and I decided to take a leisurely walk along the beach. The sound of crashing waves and the salty breeze filled the air, creating a serene atmosphere around us. As we strolled hand in hand, Jake suddenly stopped and turned to face me. His eyes shimmered with a mix of nervousness and excitement. My heart skipped a beat, sensing that something extraordinary was about to unfold. With a deep breath, Jake began expressing his feelings. His voice trembled ever so slightly as he spoke of the immense love he felt for me, how I had become the most important person in his life. He shared his dreams of a future together, filled with love, adventure, and shared happiness. And then, in a moment that felt like a dream, Jake got down on one knee, a small velvet box held delicately in his hand. My breath caught in my throat as he looked up at me, his eyes filled with hope and anticipation. "Will you marry me?" he asked, his voice filled with emotion. Tears of joy welled up in my eyes as I realized that this was the culmination of a love story that had unfolded so beautifully. Without a doubt, my heart knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this incredible man who had brought so much love and happiness into my world. Through tear-filled eyes, I managed to say, "Yes. Yes, Jake, 1,000 times yes." With a beaming smile, Jake slipped the sparkling engagement ring onto my finger. In that magical moment, the world seemed to stand still. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring us together, to intertwine our destinies and create a love story that would endure through the ages. News of our engagement spread like wildfire, and our friends and families rejoiced in our love. The journey to our wedding day would be filled with joy, planning, and anticipation as we prepared to embark on the next chapter of our lives together. And so, with a resounding yes and a promise to cherish and support each other, Jake and I embraced the exciting adventure that awaited us as an engaged couple. The love that had blossomed from that faithful meeting in the park had evolved into a profound commitment to build a future filled with love, laughter, and a lifetime of beautiful memories.